Welcome to the first session of Meet Me at the Table for the year of 2024. Our guest this week is Brielle. Brielle is a captivating artist whose journey spans the realms of singer, rapper, songwriter, and poet. With a rich background in classical, jazz, gospel, and rhythm and blues, Brielle has cultivated a unique and diverse musical palette. Beyond her artistry, she is a survivor, reclaiming her place in the world as a mother, independent artist, entrepreneur, and activist following a recent assault. Brielle's extensive training showcases her commitment to mastering various genres, allowing her to seamlessly navigate an intricate landscapes of music. Her resilience and versatility are evident as she wears multiple hats, establishing herself as a truly unique and compelling artist. However, Brielle's story transcends music. As a survivor, she has emerged stronger, finding her way back to the world with a renewed purpose, balancing the roles of motherhood, independent artist, entrepreneur, and activist. Brielle's journey is a testament to her strength and determination. Her multifaceted identity, shaped by both triumph and challenge, paints a picture of a woman who refuses to be confined by labels. Brielle's relentless spirit and commitment to advocacy makes her a powerful force in the industry and a source of inspiration for those facing similar adversities. Ladies and gentlemen, Brielle. Everyone, welcome this evening. Welcome, Brielle, to our show of Meet Me at the Table. Brielle, thank you for taking the time out to meet with us on this evening. I am really pleased and very heartfelt and warm that you took the time out to meet with us on today.
No, thank you for having me, Sister Sheila. It's really a pleasure. And I'm glad that I'm doing my first interview with someone who's known me literally all my life. So, I just feel like this is just the best way to even come back, with people that you know and that you're safe with. So thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I had shut down, I think, for 2 months, and I had meant to reach out to you to let you know that I wanted you to start the year off. But I said, once I realized that time had gotten by, and then I went through a death in the family and everything, I said, when I hit her, I'm just going to ask that she wants to. So I'm glad that you accepted. Before we start, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Okay, very much so. Very much so. What I normally do, Brielle, is I go through and I ask you a couple of questions, just for you to get comfortable, relaxed, and for the audience to get to know you. And then I ask you to go into your story and tell us about you and what you want people to know. Okay?
Okay.
My first question is, Brielle, what is a day in the life of Brielle like?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, I would have to say I never know. I never know what a day in my life is like. I can probably remember back to when I was young. My days have always been spontaneous, analytical, and as OCD as I am, and making sure that I want things to go a certain way. It never goes that way. I remember when I used to be frustrated that my days would never go as I wanted them to, but it's just another way I look at it, as God just allows my day to go how he wants it to go. So my day consists of children, music, most of all, God. That's the first thing I do when I wake up. I thank God, just for allowing me to breathe the breath of life and be still on this side. Um, so prayer starts my day. Um, my kids, you know, my work right now is music, which I'm so glad about. That has been something that has been a desire for me since I've been a child. And in the more recent months, I've been actively been able to be in my career,
Right.
so I thank God for that. So right now, music in every aspect, as far as vocal coaching, as far as songwriting, as far as singing, out gigging right now, singing live with bands and stuff. That's basically what my day entails right now.
Yeah. Okay. If you were to go back to any age in your life, what age would you like to go back to?
Ooh. Mm, I would go back to when I was 5. I
Why
would
you,
go back to age 5.
why did you choose that?
Um, I would go back to age 5 because that's when my grandfather was alive, and he was basically the first dad that I knew, and I would go back to 5 because he passed when I was like 6 and a half, and I would probably go back to that year before then, just so that I could have a little bit more time with him.
I truly understand that part of that. If you
Yeah.
were to be able to sit across from a 18-year-old Brielle, what would you tell her?
I would tell 18-year-old Brielle that it's okay to be different, and weird is okay sometimes. I will also tell her that she is more than just a face. She's intelligent. Uh, she's innovative. She's creative. She has a big heart. And I would probably mostly tell her that it's okay to love people, but not to trust everyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good point. To love,
Yeah.
trust everyone. At some point, we have to keep that. I wouldn't say our guard up, but we have to protect to be able to protect your your heart, your mind,
Right.
your peace. So
Right. Right.
good part. Okay, so we're gonna dive right in. Brielle, I want you to tell my audience your story. What's behind the music? What's behind the art? And what makes the activist?
Okay. So thanks to my mom, she's always had me super involved in multiple things. So I always kind of knew that I would just never be in one lane. Um, and I'm glad that it's coming full circle now. And I believe that I do know what my purpose is on this earth. And that no matter what comes my way, I am to fulfill it because that's God's will for my life. So I am a singer, songwriter, poet, rapper, actress. I wear many hats. Vocal coach, soon to be life coach. I just dibble and dabble in a lot of things, but I would say the root of it starts at music. Music runs in my family actually on both sides.
Yes.
Um, on both sides. All the girls in my family on my grandmother's side, we all sing. As you know, Sister Sheila, we all sing. Um, so I got my roots at church, and also from my father's side, which is very interesting that a lot of people don't know about me. The music side from my father's side was more based in R&B. My grandfather was based, I believe he said, in Harlem, and he worked with multiple artists back in the day, such as Frankie Lyman, all of those old school groups and everything like that. So I get basically my R&B side from my dad's side, and my gospel roots from my mom's side. So I basically came into the world as a fusion. Always had a different voice. My voice was always slightly different from the rest. I always had like this lower rasp thing going on. I wanted to be a soprano so bad, but that didn't happen until years later.
Look, that soprano
You know,
as we think it is when Rhonda was pushing us in the choir. Yeah, that's soprano sometimes.
and you a good soprano, sister. You was a great soprano, one of my favorites. But Lord knows, when I was young, I was not able to hit them notes. So, you know, it took me some time to like really own in on the skills that I had, and to be comfortable that I didn't have to sound like anyone else, you know. And you know, me and my cousin, because we're both the only child, you know, so we were basically raised like sisters. So growing up under her, you know, it was music because we both came up in church, and you know, she's an 80s baby, I'm a 90s baby. So, you know, I can go all the way back to when she used to have the stereo surround sound system in her room. And she, you know, we would leave from church, and I'd come and invade her room like a little sister, you know, and she'd put her cassette tapes in, and you know, it was just various artists from Karen Clark Sheard to Jay Moss to Brandy to Usher. It was just, you know, a collective of real vocalists.
Music, right? The love of
you
music.
know, and just, you know, just to have that bass, and not be so closed in, you know, to what music should sound like, I think really jump started me into who I would be today. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to touch on a subject, and if you want to speak on it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. But
No problem.
in your bio, I will read it at the beginning of the podcast. You pointed out survivor.
Yes.
Your hand is still wrapped up. Can you tell the people what happened?
Yes. So last year, 2023, I'm so glad that I can finally say that I'm in 2024, because last year was a very trying year for me. So in the early months of 2023, a lot of people also don't know this, but I moved from my hometown maybe about 2 years ago, and moved to the Midwest. But I sometimes come back and forth from my hometown to the Midwest, because sometimes I have different events over here. I get booked, you know, sometimes in my hometown. So I travel back and forth. And I had recently got booked to do some poetry at my god sister who passed away. Her name was Sierra, at her church, and got booked to do that. So I headed over here a few days early to actually get myself prepped for the event, you know, maybe go pull up on some of my family members, you know, nothing too much. And I'm an early riser, so I get up in the morning. I like fresh air, the dawn. I don't know. It's just something about when,
Mm-hmm.
it hits 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm already up, washed, ready to go out the door. So I happened to be walking to meet my best friend, and it was really dead outside. Um, Nothing out of the norm, because I'm like, it's still early. And I so happened to be walking, and I almost met my destination. And out of nowhere, this guy that I never seen before, he basically ran down on me, and wanted whatever I had in my pockets. And thank God I never been raised to be a person that was materialistic.
Right.
Money that can get printed again, my life can't. So, I didn't really give any problems, so basically the guy robbed me. I still was pretty calm, gave it to him. My best friend was actually on her way to me, and basically saw like what was going on in the moment. And it stunned her, stunned both of us actually. And he wouldn't let up. Never, like, mind you, I said I never met this guy before, never seen him in my DMs, never seen him at one of my shows, and I'm really a personable artist. So when I'm done, with my shows, I interact with the crowd. So I'm like, this is someone I never ever came
Right.
across. I'm really good with faces, horrible with names, but good with faces. So I'm like, I don't know this guy, and she came to aid me in the situation. And he attacked her first, I guess, because he felt like she was getting in the way of what he was trying to do. And I begged him, because she's a little smaller in stature than me, really tiny, and I was, scared that he may have possibly unalived her with the force that he was using. So I basically begged him, in the moment. I said, please, please, like, I gave you everything I had, please don't hurt her. And he lost it. He absolutely lost it. And in that moment, um it happened so fast that I could not even really get a full picture of his face. That's how quick everything happened. But I could remember his eyes. And for a minute, everything went mute. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't feel anything. And all I know is that I got up from the ground, and my head was knotted up. My eye was swollen shut. My mouth was swollen shut. Um, and I was shocked that I was still awake, honestly. And it definitely shook me up, because I was born and raised in my hometown, and I never ever had those type of problems before. I don't bother anybody.
Right.
I mind my business. I'm very respectful. Um, and in that moment, I got up, and all I could think about was that we needed help. And he told me that I better get off of the block before he shoots me. And I'm just like, I'm like, okay, so this is really a life or death situation. And I ran. We both did. And I don't know how I got to the block that I did, because I couldn't see. My eye was still swelling up at the time. And all I could remember was me running to the boulevard. I'm running. And when things like that happen, I've seen people immediately blame God. I've seen people sometimes lose hope in that moment and they just drop,
Right.
and just give up. But the only thing that I could hear my spirit saying was, God, I need your help right now. And as surely as I said that, um, a car saw how badly I was beaten, and he stopped. He stopped, and I could tell by the look on his face that he was alarmed. And for a split second, he wasn't sure if he should help me because, it's a crazy world out there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't know. You can see something crazy on the road. You don't know if it's a setup.
Right. And it may be a
You
set.
know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when people help other people, they get involved and then they can get hurt,
Right.
So I wasn't taken aback by the look on his face. But he asked me if I needed help, and I said yes. And
Mm-hmm.
he swung his door open. This stranger, this guy I never seen before. And I'm like, I just got attacked by a stranger. I don't know if I should get in the stranger's car, but I'm like, I'm on foot. And before I pass out, I need to get to somewhere where they're going to help me.
Right.
And got in the car, and he took me straight to the precinct, and didn't even catch his name. But if he ever comes across this interview,
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir, for being that light that I needed and being that vessel uh, to possibly help save my life.
Right. And it's taken me aback too, but the part where you said people blame God when things like that happen, I'm glad that you didn't, and I'm glad you see that it was God saved you. God saved
He
you.
was with me the whole time.
Exactly, because he helped you to make it to that other block, and then he sent an angel to pick you up when we don't see our footsteps. That's God carrying us. So that was God that sent down an angel to carry you up out of there.
Yes.
I'm just glad that you're okay. And I'm glad to see that you're healing. And it's going to still be a steady process for you to heal. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to wait to bring you on.
Yes.
Because I know that when people do talk about things that happen, talk about trauma, it's a healing process.
It is.
Can't say that it will ever go away, but it's a healing process for you, because even seeing something that you wrote and you said you're going back out into the streets again. So it's a daily process, and it will take time. It will
Yes.
take time. And I'm going to ask you also, just to, in your activist statue of this and helping others, can I share the photos after?
Yes.
Because
Yes, you can.
okay, I want other young women to know to be careful.
Yes.
Watch
And
watch your surroundings, whether it's your hometown, you're out of town, wherever. Watch your surroundings. Even when I come back home, I know it's not the same place anymore.
yeah,
It's not.
it it's not, and this is I said, well, for a while, okay, so that happened in the like beginning months of 2023. So this is like my about
Okay.
ninth month of healing. And I'm still healing actually. Um, and I want to bring awareness to it because the situation that I unfortunately was put in, I was hospitalized for 6 days. And then when they went to release me, when they wanted to, basically discharge me from the hospital, there were no resources. And it was very alarming to me. And they basically said, oh, well, do you know the guy? I'm like, no. They was like, were you in a relationship with him? No. Have you ever had relations with him? I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is. So they basically let me know because it wasn't a domestic violence situation, they couldn't help me. And I think that that's not right.
Right.
And if I can go back into my history a little bit, as someone also who has survived domestic violence, I was in that at a young age. And overcoming that and being strong enough to leave that situation because my life mattered, because at the time my child's life mattered more than trying to stay and being put into a different kind of situation, but also still being violated by a man again.
Right.
And realizing that in this world, you don't have to be in a relationship to be assaulted.
Exactly.
And it's scary.
You don't have to know the person. Be assaulted.
You don't have to know them. You don't, this can be totally a stranger, and you can get violated, hurt, or even worse.
And to know that there's no services because you don't know the person is a big issue.
There's no services.
It's a big issue. So our bodies, our safety doesn't mean anything because we don't know the person that jumped on us.
Right. And
alive us. So you don't know this person. So okay, you're released. You can go home.
Yep. And they discharged me, and being the fact that I was so bruised and beaten, I was beaten so bad. I could barely stand up straight. It was like I had to learn how to walk again. And they released me, and I was like, okay, you're gonna release me on this day. Can you make sure that I leave before it gets dark? And they assured me that they would make sure that I was safe and that I would get to my destination safely. And they still discharged me when it was dark outside. And I'm like, okay, I can't see. I'm badly beaten. And, I don't have a police escort to bring me to my destination. They released me when it was dark outside. And unfortunately, this situation has brought about things that, doctors will diagnose you with. I'm like, since this situation, I've been diagnosed with PTSD. I've been diagnosed with depression. I've been also, diagnosed with anxiety really bad. And they like just the fact that there's so much money that I see flowing through this town, and there's no resources for us as women, as women of color. There was just nothing basically for me, and I had to basically deal with that with like over the past few months, not being able to get up and work because my dominant hand was shattered from him punching me so hard in my hand for me trying to block my face. And I'm a righty, and I'm a writer. So
Right.
I'm a writer. When I work in the corporate field, I'm a typer. I'm like, I can't type 45 words per minute now because at the time my hand was casted up to my elbow. I'm like, I couldn't wash for the first month in the tub. I couldn't see out my eye. My eye was so far to the side, I didn't know if I would be able to see straight again. Like, it was very brutal. And I reached out to the cops, and basically they had nothing for me. I reached out to the mayor, and I'm like, I believe I took every avenue possible, because I've done a lot of community work in my hometown. I've sung for the mayor, I've sung for Veterans Day, I've done so much stuff in the community. And I'm like, now when I need help, and I went to go right back to the person who, said that whatever I needed or whatever, make sure that I come down and, open my mouth, say something. I was blocked from the mayor. They wouldn't let me go see the mayor. I went to the city hall. I said, hey, is there a way that um, I'm like, I can be fully relocated because my situation in the Midwest had changed since the incident. And I'm like, I need a little extra help right now because I
Right.
can't work. Nothing. So I have God to thank. Um, I have my best friend Candace and my other best friend Alicia to thank, because they were the only two that helped me down when when I didn't have food, when I couldn't wash myself, I couldn't mop, I couldn't clean, I couldn't wash my hair, I couldn't get groceries, I couldn't even leave out the house without someone because I was so petrified. Um,
And while
they
going
were
through this,
the only two.
Brielle, who was watching your children?
Thankfully, the other sides of their family, you know, um, were doing that. And I appreciate the other sides of their family for that because that was definitely something that was needed, and but that doesn't always necessarily mean that people are as kind to you.
Right.
And I can say that 2023 was the absolute lowest that I felt. And there were a lot of people that assisted on making sure that I felt like nothing and that I felt like my life didn't matter. Um, you know, Sometimes people, they don't want to accept that and opportune things happen, and I'm like, hey, I literally can't physically, I'm like mentally, I'm like, you don't know what that does to a mother when
Right.
she's, walking, and now something traumatic like this happens. Now I'm like in mama bear mode. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even protect my children
Right.
if I'm walking, God forbid. What if, I go against how I feel and I'm still, hey, let's go to the store, and it happens again, and then I can't protect I would never,
Your kids. Yeah.
ever put my children in the line of fire or in danger just for the sake to say that I'm mothering. And I believe that as Black women and as brown women, we have to unlearn that as well, because we're always taught to be strong. We're always taught to take the hit and suck it up and lift our head up just for the fact of saying, because I'm a mother, because I'm mothering. And a lot of women end up hurting themselves and then put their children in danger just because we're worried about what the next person's going to say. Because at the end, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people say when situations like this happen. I just want to bring awareness to women because, everyone isn't a mother yet, but for ones who are, it is important that you take those proper steps for you to be able to get back to you. Mm-hmm. And I believe in God. I believe in, prayer. But we have to learn that therapy is good. Therapy is good. God has, placed people here to learn these things on how to deal day to day. Sometimes I can't sit and wait for the Spirit of God to talk to me. I need to talk to my therapist because I need to hear actual response and how can I respond to this right now, and along with physical therapy, as long, and going to an actual therapist, I have to say that's what has kept me afloat because Lord knows if I wasn't going to talk to someone about it, definitely would have lost my mind. Definitely would have lost my mind.
And so, I think you taking the time for yourself is the smartest and the best thing that you can do for your kids.
Yes.
And not be selfish in thinking that you can do it all. So I think that's the most smartest thing that you can do for them. Most unselfish thing that you can do for them.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So it's really, it's just it's an everyday walk. And I said and in the beginning of 2023, I didn't believe that I would be at the end of 2023 because healing doesn't always feel good. And I have a slogan that I've been saying I've been going by for like about 5 years now. And it's heal what you feel. And it's, I basically used it to teach others like on how to take care of their body on the inside, put in the right things in their body, such as fruits and veggies and proteins. And I also encourage and I coach people on, how to heal what they feel mentally as well, writing it down on paper, going somewhere and maybe screaming it out, crying it out, going sitting by the water. I've discussed this for years with people, and it was this time that the physical aspect came into play, and instead of me just basically saying, you know what, this is so unfortunate and what is life, and I just want to give up. I actually looked at it like, okay, now I can speak from a physical aspect of healing what you feel, because I really had to go through that. I'm like, people really don't understand what healing is until you actually start feeling the bones in your face.
Until you go through it.
I could literally feel my face reconstruct. Like I could literally feel the bones reforming from my cheek, from my eye. I could, and I did. I was scared, but I recorded my growth, which I will show like at a later time. Please stay tuned because I'm actually working on a documentary right now. I will be I'm actually planning my next comeback show where parts of the documentary will be shown at the show, just to really see, how long, it really has taken, and the fact that, I'm still, healing even right now. But my main thing right now is spreading the word, um, informing, because it can happen to men as well. But
Right.
my aspect of it is really towards the women. Oh, excuse me, towards the women, because we're always usually, unfortunately, in life, we are seen as the weaker vessel. Like, as we can just be overtaken. And this has inspired me to create my own nonprofit organization to help solely people who have been randomly or just assaulted. There are different variations of assault. There's sexual assault as well. But I am starting this foundation so that I can bring awareness, also so that when another young woman, or however her age may be, another woman goes through this, that they will be able to reach out to my foundation, because of the fact that there were no resources. I had to go, through the phones and Google and really find other places outside of the community that could help, because the community wouldn't help. So I'm glad that for that reason, that I didn't receive any help from the community, because it allowed me to see a gift in me that I didn't know that I had. And I was able to retrieve information and build rapport and relationship with people, in the entire New Jersey area. And I'm going to bring it all to one. And also collecting donations for women like this. So when God forbid, if this happens, they'll be able to apply for some type of fund from which I'm calling it Back to Life. And it's us who go through the assault and go through this trauma, and we have a second chance at life. And a lot of people expect people who go through things like this to die.
Right.
If I could be really frank.
So basically, through the knockdown, you were able to give birth.
Yes. Yes.
You were able to birth something.
Yes. Which also comes full circle, because musically, people who know me, they know that I refer to myself as a butterfly. And butterfly goes through the metamorphosis, and there's different levels and stages of transformation. And one thing that I've been learning over the years as a butterfly is that you can go through multiple metamorphoses. Like, Lord knows, I'm probably on my 5th, 6th one right now. And I'm like, I call it the rebirth, because I'm like, we feel like once we spread our wings, that's it. But every year, every level, it's something greater, it's something new. Sometimes you have
something is added on to that butterfly. The color changes, the wings get larger, grow.
Yes.
So yes, like you said, the metamorphosis of it.
And the crazy part about it is that, do you know that a butterfly never sees its wings? So a butterfly can't even see its own wings. So we're just basically, looking ahead at the situation, and we don't know all of this calamity and craziness is happening around us, but we don't know that it's adding, and it's making us more beautiful. And for a while, it me looking the way that I did had me so self-conscious, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is my money. I'm like, my smile is messed up. This is my money. I'm like, my eyes, still healing. I'm like, I looked like Two-Face. I'm like, I'm like, my hand, I need my hand to hold the mic. I'm like, I need my hand to write these songs. Everything that I needed to be fully in my career was altered. And it really, took a lot out of me. And I'm so glad that I made the decision to start doing some self-love talk and positive talk in the mirror,
Right.
to really
Encourage yourself,
appreciate.
uplift yourself. Yes, we have to
And
empower ourselves.
Sister Sheila, I've never felt more beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Like I'm like, even with my little, things that I can notice about myself, I'm like, there's nothing more beautiful about me than now,
And
and
now,
I'm like,
yes,
just seeing myself heal. I said it's probably the most stressful, most triumphant, most heart-wrenching, sexiest thing that I've ever done. Because I'm like, people sometimes they just look at healing and being the fact that it doesn't feel good and you have to go through so many changes. People look at it as a horrible thing, or like a ugly thing. But when you look at where you've come from
exactly.
and where you are now,
Yes.
you
Well,
you
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 can
have
just
to
thank God that
appreciate
you're
that.
not where you were. And like you said,
Yes,
it's the rebirth.
yes,
You're coming
yes,
out, and to watch those steps as you're growing. You may have gotten knocked down. 2023 has knocked down a lot of people. I told myself at the beginning of 2023, I was like, ooh, I'm glad to see 2023. But at the end of it, I said, I'm blessed to have seen 2023.
yes, yes,
Because a lot of
yes.
people didn't make it through. They let their problems, their situations, their heartaches, their letdowns, they let all of it beat them down. And they didn't try to regroup from it or regrow from it or rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
But you have
Mm-hmm.
to take those things and apply it to yourself. And you're doing it every day. You're doing it every day. I'm proud of you.
Thank
I
you.
think you're
That
just as
means a lot.
beautiful as you've always been.
Thank you.
um,
It means a lot. It really does.
and I'm looking forward to hearing that next song, hearing that next writing that you do. Because
Yes.
I know it's fire. It's going to be more than the two snaps. I can just imagine, because now you're writing from pain and
Yeah.
you're writing from your heart. So I can only imagine what's coming. Um,
Yeah. I got some stuff in the works. I definitely have some things in the works, and I'm glad, and I'm actually anticipating that next song. I mean, I have songs ready for release right now, but I know that the song that I'll write after coming through this, it'll probably be one of my greatest works,
mhm.
and I'm excited. Um, I'm excited for that. I really am excited for that. I'm just glad that um I'm glad that I have two really, really dope best friends
Mhm.
that kept me, because I was gonna music, that was it for me. That was it for me. I wasn't gonna sing anymore. I wasn't gonna even attempt to type a song out, and I
Mhm.
wasn't I was just like, screw this music. This is not it. I'm not going back to it, and I'm thankful for them, because they reminded me, like, that's not what God is
Right.
saying,
Right.
you know? So
Mhm.
I'm so thankful for them. I'm so thankful for them.
Those are your angels. To leave us off, Brielle, what can you say to young women that are up early in the morning or out late at night, not only in Jersey City, but everywhere? What would you say to them right now?
One, don't ever think that it can't be you, and being the fact of you knowing that it could possibly be you. Always make sure you carry something to protect yourself. You know, this particular day, I didn't have my mace on me. I didn't have my taser on me, because I wasn't thinking about it. Always double check. Um, Make sure you have something, they have, which I'm actually working on too. There's keychains, self-defense keychains that you can carry on your keys. So just in case stuff gets real, you'll be able to protect yourself. But always be aware of your surroundings. If you don't have to go by yourself or be by yourself, don't. Um, and For the ladies with cars, um, don't sit in your car too long, because assaults also happen like that as well. Sometimes we get off late from work and we sit in front of the house with our lights on in the car, and you never know who's in the area, who's watching, who's plotting. So when you get home, get out the car and go in your house, and just just be watchful and pray. That's all you can do. I'm usually watchful and I usually pray. And it happened to me, and it doesn't mean that you're still not protected, because look at me, I'm still here, so just make sure you protect yourself at all times, ladies. Be watchful. And try to stay in groups if you can, because the more that you have with you, the more likely chance you are to be able to make it out without being hurt.
Brielle, I want to thank you for taking this time to meet me at the table and for being so open and sharing your story. This is going to help so many in this year and in the years to come. I just want everyone to know I will be sharing the photos. It is a trigger warning. And we will also share any numbers or information that we can give for anyone that is going through any type of abuse. That will be at the end of the videos, and I will be sharing her organization as soon as she has everything together in regards to helping other women. Once again, thank you for taking the time to meet me at the table. Brielle, I love you. Continue to
Thank you. I love you, Sister Sheila.
Blossom, okay?
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.